I absolutely love the amount of hoops that come with the Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic 3. Hi, I'm Sarah from sewingmastery.com, and we're doing all the free video tutorials for this beautiful machine, allowing you to go back and re-watch them over and over. And just because you've watched them once doesn't mean that you always retain all that information. So don't be afraid to come back and re-watch these often so you can pick up on more information that you missed the first time through. Plus, we have a ton of online courses. For example, our Embroidery Essentials online course, a great way and project to work through to master this machine. So one of the things that you'll notice is that all your hoops have a size on them right here at the bottom. So you can identify which hoop your machine actually recommends for the design you pick. So for example, just from where I left off, the machine thinks that I have a 120 by 120 hoop on. But I started here because I want you to see that when you pick a design, and I'm going to just pick something from the Silver Collection and touch and hold, watch what happens. You see a red line around this hoop size saying that this design is too big for this hoop. So we're going to talk about where we go to change hoops, and also too, if you haven't pre-picked a hoop, it will have come in the hoop size it recommends. But let's explore hoop options, and then at the end, I'm going to show you how you can customize this hoop list, because look, there are so many hoops available, and sometimes your machine will pick a hoop that you don't actually own, and you actually have a way to create a list of hoops that you do own, so the machine only picks from that particular list. But for right now, we can just pick a larger hoop, for example, and to close down this, touch hoop options at the end. Now, even though the hoop shows still red, if I just center that design, I can see that it actually now fits in that hoop. Now, if you are looking to maybe use a bigger hoop or put other designs in here, go ahead and go to hoop options and start with the hoop size that you would like to actually use. So are you using one of the bigger sizes, such as the largest hoop that comes with this machine, the 465 by 260, you can start there and realize all the playground that you now have. Everything that is white is considered your stitchable area when you put that particular hoop on. And the machine is actually smarter than all of us. If for any reason you've picked this hoop but you didn't put on the right hoop, it will actually not let you embroider, which is super, super great. And the other thing that you can do in hoop options is, what if we were going to be embroidering on blue fabric? You can actually choose what color of the background you are using. So if I just went ahead and picked blue, and of course I could pick all sorts of different colors of blue here, or shades, but watch what happens is if you are thinking of doing your stitching in this particular thread color, does it show on a blue background? So that's also great to have. You also have in the hoop options the ability to scan your hoop and actually get the, especially if it's not solid in color, like if there's a print or a pocket that you're trying to match, you can scan it. Well, we'll do a video specifically on scanning your hoop, but this would be where you actually do that hoop feature. Now, I mentioned that you can customize the list of hoops to the ones you own. So for example, some of these you might not actually own at this time, so you don't want the machine to actually pick them, and then you're like, oh, well, wait, I don't have that hoop, and now you have to go back and pick. So here's what you do. Let's close out hoop options, go into the settings, go into embroidery, and down here at the bottom it says My Hoops. Now I caution you just a little bit, because when you do this, so let's go ahead and to put in the hoops that you own, so I can go ahead and put little check marks next to, I have that one, I have that one, I have a 120 by 120. We'll just stay right here for now. When I go ahead and leave this, only these three hoops are going to come up as an option for that embroidery design. So here's the thing. If you add a hoop and you're wondering why it's not on your list, it's because you need to come back in here and add it to your My Hoops list. So just, I do get questions on that from time to time. And, you know, you set this up this year and then next year you get a hoop for Christmas and then you wonder why you can't use it. So just keep that in mind, that you always need to add your hoops to the list as you are buying them, and then that will show up. So here's how it's going to look when we go into hoop options. Is the ones that are highlighted are the ones you own or the ones that the machine will pick for you. The rest will be down below. I do love that I can pick my hoop list and like not have to always be scrolling through all these different ones. That makes total sense, since Viking does make a wonderful list of hoop options for everybody's needs. But you probably don't own all of these right this second. So I am going to come back in. If I was adding or subtracting, not that you'd get rid of hoops, but I'm going to go back in and kind of undo my hoop list. So it knows that it can choose any of those hoops, and I will be totally fine with that. So enjoy going in, picking the hoops that you're using. Oh, it reverted back. And then also too, I do like, instead of a blue background, I do like to have kind of a whitish looking. It helps me see what I'm working on. Most of my designs will show up on that white background until they don't. And then that's how, and it's nice to be able to change that background color. So if you have any stitching that is shown in white, then you might choose, say, a different color, a black or a gray, to make sure you're seeing all the parts of the design before you start to stitch out. So take some time to explore your hoop options menu and being able to customize the background that allows you to see your screen the easiest. Check out those links to all of our online courses where you can learn to master both the sewing side and the embroidery side of the Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic 3. And remember, when you buy a course from Sewing Mastery, you own it for life.